Alrighty, so after McCaffrey, the number two player in 2020 draft should be
Saquon.
the next Dalvin Cook, aka a second round back who then is top five in 2021, will be
My dude, Miles Sanders.
favorite fantasy team name you've ever seen.
Oh man. Uh, can it? Oh boy. There's a few. Um, man. Can we come back to that one? Because I have so many.
We can absolutely come back to that one, yeah. And it's this is my first time doing that one on this. It's a tough
Yeah.
question because so many of the best names are often like digs at your opponents or like get personal with it. So I totally understand if it's like there's not a clear one that it's going to make sense to any of us. But yeah, if anything pops to mind before the end, definitely let us know. Alrighty, so we talked about the next Dalvin Cook. What about the next Chris Godwin, kind of a round 4 or 5 receiver that just explodes into this elite target hog?
Terry McLaurin.
2020's Mark Andrews or breakout tight end will be
Oh, there's no other Mark Andrews. There's no other George Kittle too. I loved Kittle super late 2 years ago. God, I think Hayden Hurst has like a really outside chance at doing it, but I don't feel as nearly as strongly as I did about Andrews last year.
the most hated NFL player for fantasy specific reasons for you is
Taysom Hill. God, Taysom freaking Hill.
he is so annoying and it is the most polarizing like Twitter player of all time. You say one bad thing about him and you've got the Taysom Hill community on you. It's that's classic. I'm gonna cut that up and put it on Twitter. You're gonna have everybody on you after this one.
Please don't, for the love of God. I had to mute, dude. Nick, I literally muted Taysom Hill's name on Twitter because I just could not do it anymore. I could not take any more Taysom Hill takes. I just couldn't do it.
I love it. So there probably won't be another Lamar Jackson or Pat Mahomes level breakout, but if any quarterback was going to do it, who would it be this year?
Kyler Murray, and I know that'll be a consensus opinion, but it's the right one.
Which early rounder, one or two, is going to bust the hardest?
Early round 1 or 2 is going to bust the hardest. Aaron Jones, probably. Those touchdowns are going to that touchdown regression is going to hit hard. And if AJ Dillon and Jamal Williams are both involved, it'll be really, really hard for him.
Absolutely. Who do you think gained the most fantasy value during this 2020 offseason?
Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I mean, my goodness, he went from like being the 109, 110 in dynasty drafts to being the 101.
Conversely, who do you think lost the most?
Man, that's a tough one. Probably Marlon Mack, I guess.
That's my answer, yep.
Yeah, I would probably say Marlon Mack. I would also maybe put Damian Williams in that conversation, but I think we kind of all expected the Chiefs to at least add a back. The Colts using 41 overall and moving up to get Taylor was definitely a surprise. So, yeah, I'd go Mack.
Absolutely. In most lists, A.J. Brown's kind of the top of the sophomore class for wide receivers. So who do you think should go after him among second-year receivers or even challenge his top spot if you think there's someone better out there?
Yeah, McLaurin, I think. Second-year receiver, McLaurin.
I love it. Target hogs or workhorse backs? What do you like more?
I mean, workhorse back to me, yeah. Yeah, workhorse backs. I mean, there's just fewer of them.
Yeah.
There's just fewer of them.
Over the last 3 years, Kamara, Connor, and Eckler have all kind of had top 5 seasons despite falling past round 7 in fantasy drafts. Who's that going to be in 2020?
Oh boy, I don't know how much you have been looking at like running back after the top 4 or 5 rounds this year, but holy crap, dude, it just falls off the
Hideous.
freaking cliff. It's really freaking bad.
I think I'm going to go running back in like most leagues. If 3 of my first 4, if not the first 3 straight, just to, like you said, the drop-off's huge. But if there's anybody that catches your eye out there.
Honestly, the going running back heavy, the first 2 to 3 picks, that's going to be my main strategy in most of my leagues too. I'm going to go super off the board because I just love the player, but I'm going to say Anthony McFarland. I just think if there's a chance that if James Conner doesn't get hurt, he might be the best player in that backfield, and if Conner gets hurt again, then it could be lights out.
Love it. What about the ideal league settings for you?
Yeah, for Dynasty, I've been playing in a lot of super flex leagues, and I think that makes a lot of sense just because, like, in one quarterback leagues, pretty much everybody has the same roster construction. But in super flex, definitely opens up kind of way, I don't know, it opens up just a totally different avenue of theory. So if you haven't checked out a super flex league, both for dynasty and redraft, I'd definitely check it out.
Love it. What about after Michael Thomas, which receiver should go next?
Oh, Nick, I have a super hot take. Davante Adams he should maybe go ahead of Michael Thomas.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you want to tell us that take real quick?
That's my guy. Davante Adams might be walking into legitimately 200 targets this year. He was on pace to get 170 last year, missed 4 games, was going to get 170. Packers didn't add any receivers. Davante Adams and Michael Thomas, I think, are in the same tier. I think it's that close.
Love it. The most important coaching move for fantasy purposes this offseason is going to be blank for whose value?
That's a tough one, man. Yeah. Let me think about this one.
My guy, while you're thinking, I love Joe Brady going, even though he's not the head coach, I love what he could potentially bring. Like, if I look at who could be the next McVay style guy, like that just comes in and the offense is completely turned around. I like him, and I like what they've built around him there. But I don't know if you see anybody else making a huge impact.
Yeah, Brady was the first one that comes to my mind too. I wanted to go a little off the board.
Yeah,
I'll follow you. Honestly, I think it makes the most sense because what Brady did with Clyde Edwards-Helaire, especially on angle and option routes, Christian McCaffrey is going to run. He's going to run circles around some of those linebackers. Real quick, I guess I could say Mike McCarthy because he back in Green Bay. It's not necessarily for any one particular player, but back in Green Bay, the Cowboys ran 11 personnel almost every play, and they're going to be in 11 in almost every play this year with Lamb and Cooper and Gallup this year. So I'm really interested to see how McCarthy kind of utilizes all of those players as a whole there because they've got 3 excellent wide receivers now.
I mean, Dak could go 5,040. It could be insane.
Dak was the QB2 last year in total fantasy points. Now, granted, that's because Mahomes missed some time, but Dak has an outside chance at being a top 2 quarterback again this year, even with Jackson and Mahomes there.
I think his MVP odds, not to get off the script there, but my buddy loves tracking these, and I think it was plus 1,500 right now for Dak. So
he threw down. Just stop. No, we want that value there. I got an 18-1 on Dak.
Wow. Yeah. Wow, that's unbelievable. Yeah,
if you can find it, go buy some Dak.
Absolutely, right? He could just completely light that thing up this year. All right, so last couple here. So I won't leave 2020 fantasy drafts without getting blank.
Terry McLaurin.
Yeah, that's the guy this time, huh? I love it.
For running backs though, I'm if I don't get Miles Sanders or Clyde Edwards-Helaire or Kenyon Drake in the second round, those are my guys in the second round this year.
Do you do any auction drafts or?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
That's kind of my goal this year. I will see, but I love that tier of second round backs. I want 3 of them. Everyone blows their load for the $70 bell cows, and then I'm going to kind of swoop in and try to get 3 of those guys at least.
You could in auction this year. You could feasibly come away with your auction league draft with 4 of them. You could get Edwards-Helaire, Drake, Eckler, and Sanders, and just absolutely rake. It's definitely possible.
I love it. All right, last 2 here. So the opposite of that question, you'll never find blank on any of my fantasy teams in 2020.
Leonard Fournette.
That's same boat here. And so here we go. Funniest last place punishment or side bet you've either had to suffer or that you've at least witnessed in a league.
The one that I had to suffer, I had, I want to say I was in 7th or 8th grade. I finished dead last in a fantasy baseball league, got absolutely destroyed, had to go to baseball practice the next day and had a sign that I can't remember. It was some verbiage of I suck at fantasy baseball, and I had to buy everybody food after the game. That's probably my favorite one. We once made a buddy though drink. I think we made him drink 8 beers in maybe 30 minutes for losing
nice.
Our fantasy football league, and that was probably one of the funniest ones I've ever seen.
One that I had to do is I had to wear my buddy's Letterman jacket to Thanksgiving Day, where everybody's at town and stuff, and I had to go out in his jacket. And be yeah, this is my hero. horrible. Yeah, I love a good fantasy side bet. So we'll wrap up here with your boldest 2020 fantasy prediction, and then just kind of a reminder of where our listeners can find your work and connect with you.
Sure. Boldest prediction. I'll just stick with it. I think Davante Adams is the wide receiver one this year. I think, look, Michael Thomas is an awesome player. He's going to get the rock a bunch this year. But the Saints have made some moves to get, Manny Sanders and Alvin Kamara will be healthy this year. They'll get the ball to Jared Cook. I think there's an outside chance I think people are going to view it as an outside chance that Davante Adams could be the wide receiver one, but I think those two are really close. Nick, this was freaking awesome, dude. Thank you so much for having me on. Really, really appreciate it. You can always check out my work and the rest of our staff's great work at fantasypoints.com. And I'm on the Twitter machine at Graham Barfield.